Hey folks, and welcome. I am so excited to be sharing this topic today because it is something that is front and center to how I both create my life and my business, and is really at the crux of the work that I do with clients. And I also realized that it is over a year now since I created the ebook 13 Codes of Conscious Co-Creation, where we delve really deep into the universal laws that shape how we step into the power of as conscious creators in our life. These laws are in addition to what we understand as the law of attraction, like attracts like. And it's super juicy and powerful because I think a lot of what I see in the world of manifestation and manifestation writ large, and especially at the level that you see it on social media like Instagram, you just get the top, like you just kind of get the highlight. But there's so many nuances to manifestation. It's not complicated, but there's just some really powerful spiritual concepts that are often overlooked. And I really wanted to speak to those today. So this is something I come back to again and again in mastering the power of manifestation, becoming a conscious creator in my life. And as many of you may have read before in my previous blogs or heard on some of my podcasts, that some of these steps, or utilizing these steps, is really how I managed to create and manifest some incredible things in my life, including meeting the Dalai Lama when he was meant to not be doing any public appearances, creating a scholarship to a luxury spiritual event with a world-renowned spiritual teacher in New York City when they didn't have scholarships. My dream apartment here in Turkey when it was the middle of the summer and there was no availability, and yet I manifest this apartment that is just everything that I would have wanted in a home. Manifesting the dog that I have now, literally just getting this download like, oh, I think I'm going to have a dog in a week. And sure enough, it happened. There was no resistance there to it. And most recently, at the beginning of this year, having two of my highest earning months to date. Now, these steps are simple. I'm going to literally run you through 8 steps, often overlooked, to successful manifestation. Like, some of these are actually, though, a little bit challenging to get our head around, such as being given what we need before what we want. Sometimes needing to leap in order to prove that we're serious about the next level that we're calling in. And the point I think I want to make with going through these steps is, often we think manifestation sounds like kind of fluffy and kind of cute and like, yeah, like just easy and a little bit like woo-woo. And I know it's becoming a lot more mainstream now, but I actually have been reflecting on how manifestation, in order to master it, it's really not for the faint-hearted. This is really about spiritual empowerment. This is about believing in it before you can see it. This is about leaping without any guarantees to the outcome, about over and above faith. And it takes a ton of bravery and courage. We have to stay aligned and hold the belief that success is essentially inevitable, that we're going to get what we have asked for. But that requires, in the space between the asking for it and the receiving it, some serious energetic fortitude and some mental willpower. The coolest thing about that, in my humble opinion, is that empowerment, self-trust, and freedom are all some of the gifts that we get given in the mastery of becoming the conscious creators of our lives, these master manifestors in our life and business. It's really about taking radical responsibility in our life, which is kind of shit scary, you know, like either you're not responsible for anything or you're responsible for everything in your life. And I heard this the other day by Alpha Femme, and she said it with like, it packs such a punch the way that she said it, because when we I mean, it's hard to get the head around, like, everything in your life on some level you need to take responsibility for. Like, that's huge. And it may be that at a soul level we're choosing a lesson, you know, it may be that in our subconscious we're an energetic match for that toxic whatever it is that's showing up. So this is not to say that you're necessarily on a conscious level choosing to call all these things in, but there is aspects within your being that are allowing and available for the reality that you are experiencing. The other part of this is we're always being given what we need, because the universe only ever gives us what we can handle. And so if we can't handle something that we are asking for, the universe is going to keep giving us tests and initiations and challenges at the level and caliber of what it is that we desire, to help us step up, to be able to handle it, to be able to be capable of receiving it. And that can sometimes feel like, when we put in an order for something that we really desire, like success, like being able to hold space for more clients, like that romantic partner that truly, you know, loves and respects us, don't be surprised if actually what then shows up is a load of challenges. The universe might be like, oh, so you want someone that really loves and respects you? Are you sure? And rather than that person just showing up as the next person that you meet, don't be surprised if that old pattern of, you know, the emotionally unavailable toxic partner shows up 10 times in a row, just to check that you have decided that you're no longer available for that, and you are stepping up into the version of you that is aligned with what you desire, rather than the patterns of the past. So without further ado, I am going to delve into these 8 steps for successful manifestation. They say if you want to master something, teach it. And that is one reason why I just love my business so much, because I really get to delve deep into the stuff that lights me up and that I am walking the path of improving and mastering in my own life. And it's definitely something that has been front and center this past year. It's resulted in collapsing time, and like I said, some of the best months in my business. So, okay, let's do it. Are you ready? And I want to say as well, as you are listening to this, if it is helpful, please leave comments below as to your aha moments. If you are on YouTube, if you are listening to this on my podcast, please rate and review on iTunes. I would really appreciate that. And share across any of your socials with anyone that you think would benefit from these 8 often overlooked steps to successful manifestation. Okay, so dun dun dun, step 1, faith over fear. Recently, the word I keep receiving from spirit is faith. I keep hearing it often with my clients. With all my clients, before we have a call, I will connect into spirit. And I'm pretty clairaudient. It's got a lot stronger this last year, and claircognizant and clairsentient. And so often I will get given words, or sometimes very specific messages. And without a doubt, over the last month, the word that I hear every single time when I'm checking in for clients and also for myself is faith. So we all know that choosing faith over fear is the crux of manifestation. But it's one thing knowing it, and it's another thing doing it. How do you fare when things begin to look like they are not happening? The words of manifestation queen Amanda Frances: it's not faith until it looks like it won't happen and you still believe. And this is the whole jam of why manifestation takes a shit ton of courage. This is not for the faint-hearted. This is not for those people who like to see it before they can believe it. This is really about tending to and understanding what's yours to control, and understanding that you get to hold the belief even when it looks like it's impossible. One of my favorite examples of this is the Wright brothers, who invented or created the first aeroplane that took flight. They were the underdog in this race to the aeroplane. They had no funding. They were doing in it some kind of backyard shed situation. And they were running against a professional team of engineers who were backed by NASA, who had the support of political support, who had an incredible amount of funding, who had the best team working on it. But the one thing that this other team didn't have was sheer determination and belief. They didn't have any skin in the game, but these Wright brothers believed against all logic, against all reason. If you had written down, a pros and cons list or reasons why the other team were much more position suited, able, ready, qualified, all of the things to be successful in their endeavor to have a first flight in an aeroplane, create the technology that created what we have now as the airplane industry, you would have looked at the Wright brothers and laughed. And yet, that almost insane belief, they were not available on an energetic level, they were not available. It simply wasn't a possibility that they weren't going to be successful. Success was inevitable in their minds, in their feeling bodies, in their emotions, in their reality. That was the reality they were living in. And they didn't deviate from that. And sure enough, it was the Wright brothers that bought the first aeroplane and took the first flight. I love that example because the mind loves to tell us all the reasons why something isn't possible. The mind loves to think that it can understand the infinite complexities of how life happens, and it's simply not true. It's not, it's just not able to do that. It cannot explain the miraculous. It cannot explain the incredible synchronicities that come through. And so it's almost like an invitation, an opportunity to learn to master the mind, to learn to question our thoughts, to learn to release their grip on us, and instead to use the mind as a tool for the heart, for the soul, for the body, and as an apparatus toward the imagination, the creative faculty that we're endeavored with, which is arguably our most powerful faculty, the power of imagination, because it's in the power of imagination that we can think up worlds. Everything starts in that quantum realm. Everything starts in the realm of ideas. Then we begin to bring it in through the thoughts of the mind. Then we bring it in through the felt sense of the body. Then we bring it in through the aligned actions we take. You get the gist. So step one is choosing faith over fear. This is something that you control. This is something that you can work at. This is something that you can anchor in. This is something that you can practice daily. One thing that I have found to be really, really powerful in choosing faith over fear is feeling into the version of myself that has already done the thing, got the thing, achieved whatever it is that I'm trying to manifest. How do they show up? What do they feel? How do they hold themselves? I'm a specific manifester. If you know human design, you'll know the difference between specific and non-specific manifester. If you're like, what the F is that, Amy? Then I invite you to look at your human design chart. You can get it from, I think it's Jovian Institute. If you Google Jovian human design, it will pop up. And when you get your chart, either side of the head, there are 4 arrows. And if that bottom, I think it's left-hand arrow, I need to double check, that left-hand arrow is facing to the left, you are a specific manifestor, which means you need to connect with the details. You need to give us precise order to the universe in order to manifest it. And if you are a non-specific manifestor, it is much more about the felt sense, the energetics, and the form can be a lot more flexible so long as it lines up energetically. It's like an open-ended menu, really. So yes, anchoring into faith, connecting into that version of you who has already received the thing, who already has done the thing, who already has become the person. Anchoring that felt sense into the body, thinking the thoughts as that person, and then not allowing yourself to give any attention to any other reality. We live in an infinite universe. There are infinite possibilities, parallel versions of us that we can tap into, future versions of us, which are also parallel, that we can tap into when we can be laser focused in the reality that we wish to create and embody that. Now we are collapsing time. And when we can hold it tight with this energetic fortitude, with this mental willpower, we are practicing that faith. Hold firm. Align your thoughts, emotions, and beliefs with that version that already has the thing. So that is step one. Step two is, what if you chose to believe successful manifestation was inevitable? So I listened to a fascinating interview the other day between Sahara Rose and the Manifestation Babe. And the Manifestations Babe's story is just fascinating and phenomenal. She made a colossal decision that she wanted to take charge of her life. I think she'd been to a Tony Robbins conference and realized she was living for everyone else and she was not actually pursuing her dreams. And so she thought, screw it, I'm gonna put myself first. I'm actually gonna start following the path of my soul. And what that looked like was moving to LA to live on her grandma's sofa with no money, having spent maxed out a credit card on this Tony Robbins event. And she made a decision, she made an agreement with herself that her success was inevitable, that she was going to outline in detail what it was that she wanted, and she was going to give herself 12 months, but she was going to be really, 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 really strict with herself, that she would only act in ways aligned with the success of this being inevitable. And if it didn't work in 12 months, she would never look back at this and she would never need to practice it again. But for 12 months, that was what she was doing. And she kind of thought, you know, screw it. I'm at rock bottom right now. I'm on my grandma's sofa. What can be the worst that can happen? And in that first year, I think she made something like $9,000 and things were setting up. She continued to have that faith in success being inevitable. And the second year, she skyrocketed. And it's not all about the money, but the freedom and the choice and the empowerment. She made a quantum leap to $600,000 in a business around manifestation. So this blows my mind, because those times when we start to doubt is often the times when we are closest to the realization of our dreams. It's often the times, you know, the darkest hour is right before the dawn. There's a truth in this, you know. It's almost like for the final prize, can we overcome the biggest hurdle? And another analogy that I really love is, you know, when you place an order at a restaurant, and this is kind of what it's like with the universe, co-creating with the universe, right? You place an order at a restaurant, you don't suddenly start crying when, upon placing the order and the waiter writing it down or putting it into his iPad or whatever it is, just because your food doesn't show up that next instant, you don't start crying that you just don't get what you want and it's not coming. You know, like, we have a trust that the order has been taken and the food will arrive at the right time when it's ready. Where and how can you start to apply that same mentality to your manifestations? And this does take some inner parenting work, because the inner child that, with her woundings or the various parts of ourselves, the lower parts of ourselves, the wounded parts of ourselves, will want to say or have those tantrums and say, it's not coming because I'm not good enough. It's not coming because I don't deserve it. It's not coming because I've done something wrong. It's not coming because I'm not allowed to have what I want. I don't matter, whatever the things are. But what if we can trust the process? What if we can begin to practice sitting back and wait in excited expectation? It's the same with our manifestations, right? What if you could trust the success of receiving your manifestations as being inevitable? How would you feel? What actions would you take? What beliefs would you hold? I wonder if you could even play with the idea of doing what the Manifestation Babe did for that year, you know, and do it for even a week. How would it feel to enjoy the truth and the power that what you want is coming in the right time, in the right way? So step 3, moving on to step 3. Focus on what you can control. When we make aligned moves as a version of ourselves that already has the thing, when we hold that energy, the universe has no choice but to meet us there. This is the vibrational law of attraction and the law of action working together. The reason it doesn't work for many of us is because we lose our cool. We doubt, we lose our confidence, or we're not willing to make those brave, bold, big moves that prove that we're serious about what we want. We're not yet at that tipping point that staying stuck costs us more than leaping. And in a world taught to see it before you believe it, believing it before you see it is a radical act of faith. But when I talk about focusing what you can control, this is about shifting the focus from the outside world to the inner world. It's about reclaiming our power over what we can control. We can control how we feel, we control how we think, we can control the actions we take. We cannot control what anyone else is doing. We cannot control the craziness around us. We can only clean up our inner world. And this is so empowering when we remember this. I'm going to start playing some epic music because I'm feeling like I want it for the vibe. 1 minute. Okay. And in this focusing on what we can control, this is the crux of self-empowerment. There is a level of liberation here. There's a level of liberation from codependency. There is a level of liberation from looking for validation and support outside of ourselves. There is a level of realigning with our soul's true power. And it allows us to let go. We don't need to sweat the small stuff. We can rest in the knowledge that everything is being created from our inner state. It doesn't matter what there is right now. That's just a reflection of the past, our past inner state. Right now is where we hold our power. Right now in this moment is where we're creating our future. Right now is where we can start to influence how things are going to turn out and how things are going to go. Right now is how we can alter what's coming by creating it. So pay attention to the thoughts you think right now. Pay attention to the feelings you're choosing right now. I really love how Gabby Bernstein always says, reach for the next best feeling thought. Be willing to see things differently, as they say in A Course in Miracles. Choose to embody what feels good. Why not? Why wouldn't you? It's going to have the most impact over everything else. And that's not to say, I'm not saying spiritually bypass. If stuff is coming up that needs to be witnessed, we witness it. And we stay anchored in the loving awareness that allows whatever is there to be witnessed, to be released, to be integrated back in the love light of our heart, because perhaps that was the part that was in resistance to where we're going. And we don't get anywhere by disconnecting and trying to cut that part off. We get somewhere by loving it. And when it's loved and acknowledged, then it can be released. Its power is released, it's brought back into the light. So aligning with what you want in the now, focusing what you can control, your thoughts, your words, your actions. Step 4. Step 4 is a really juicy one because this is the one that most people get tripped up by, including myself, more times than one. And it's this: we will always get what we need first. You are only given what you can handle. So if you ask for something that you are not able to handle yet, for example, you want to be in a relationship with a really empowered man and you haven't yet empowered yourself, or you want to lead a certain number of women through a level of transformation that you have not gifted yourself yet, the universe is going to start to give you the challenges at the level and caliber of what it is that you want, because that's what we need first. I'm going to read to you a little piece that I had put to this. When we're living out a situation that we do not like, it's important not to blame or shame yourself for what's occurring. There is a dimension often overlooked in the world of manifestation, and it's the vast intelligence of the universe and the law of grace. The law of grace trumps the law of karma. It protects us for what is in our highest good and spiritual, for our greatest spiritual evolution, and for the highest good of all. This means that we're not always going to get what we want, but we will be given what we need. And sometimes that can look like one big mess first. Sometimes we might have to die to who we have been in order to be born into who we're going to be. So if you ask for that growth in your business, if you ask for a job promotion and you suddenly seem to be experiencing just a whole shit show of additional problems and challenges in your job or in your business, do not be deterred. This is perfect. You are being given the opportunity, the initiation to up level. The universe is preparing you to have what you want. It is preparing you to become who you need to be to receive what you desire. You need to expand your capacity, your ability, your skills. You need to be able to release what is no longer serving you. And it is all unraveling. It is all being presented to you in the perfect time, space, sequence, and continuum. Even if your ego, especially your ego and your mind, cannot understand it and fathom it. It's so easy at this stage, so easy to fall into either victimhood, I've done something wrong, victimhood, blame, or shame, which looks like I've done something wrong. There's something wrong with me. Why is this happening to me? And when we can remember that everything is here to help us, that everything is being given to us for our greatest growth, then we can look at those challenges and go, oh, this is juicy. This is exciting. I know something big is coming next. What can I prove right now? Who can I show myself to be? How can I be the embodiment of love? How can I be that leader? How can I be all that I know I am wishing to become? It's in these initiations that we get to prove that we're serious about what we want. We get to prove that we are able, that we are capable, that we are ready. We get to up level. We get to become an expanded version of ourselves first. So that we're ready to handle what it is that we've asked for from the universe. Okay. Step 5, be careful what you wish for. So I was at dinner with a friend this week, really yummy sushi dinner, looking out at the sunset. And partway through the conversation, I was pretty much crying with laughter over this, be careful what you wish for. Because we were recounting all the times and some memories in our lives when we had asked the universe for great growth and success. There we go. And before the success, we'd been bombarded with a succession of challenges. And I was just crying with laughter saying, we literally asked for it. Literally asked for it. And this is the biggest thing with manifestation. Don't be surprised if all those challenges show up to prepare you for what you're going to get. Do not be surprised, but be careful for what you wish for, because if you ask for big quantum leaps and growth, it's going to be a roller coaster ride. And check in with yourself, right? Check in with yourself. Why are you wanting that? Is it from your ego, or is it because it's actually a soul-led desire that's actually dropped in? It's actually your heart that's leading you towards it, that says, oh, this is exciting, this is lighting me up, I'm ready for X, Y, or Z? Or is it the ego that's trying to grasp, that's making it mean something, that's attaching something about how you feel or your identity to what it is that you're trying to manifest? Because you are going to get a nasty sting if you try and manifest from the ego. And I say this with so much love, because I've made this mistake many a time. It's very easy to do. It's very easy to do when you're coming from lack, to try and just get something. You know, we've fallen out of integrity and alignment with our soul and the abundance that is our truth. And we're just thinking about ourselves. So this leads me on to step 6, manifesting for the greater good. As Alba Femme said, and many others before her, With great power comes a great responsibility. Your job is to get super clear on what you want and why you want it. If you are not sure why you want something, ask that question why 5 times. It will help you drill down as to whether this is coming from the fears of the ego, the greed, the fear, the grasping, or whether it's actually to serve the greater good. Make sure you bring integrity into the equation. Be intentional about what you are saying to the universe that you want, especially if you're saying it out loud. There's manifestation power in your voice. So yeah, manifesting for the greater good, tapping into your soul desire rather than the desires of the ego. And step 7, remember what is yours to do and what is the universe's. Because manifesting from your ego will create karma. Pushing against divine right timing, the when, and trying to control the how is also out of alignment with the universe. That's not your job. That's the universe's job. So release it, release the how and the when. Trust it's going to happen in the divinely right time and in the divinely right way. And make peace in the meantime with what's showing up, knowing that it's all here to help you, knowing that it's all here to serve you and help you grow. You don't have to like the mess in the middle. You don't have to like it, but can you, throughout that, feel the red thread of trust, of faith? Can you really surrender into what is right now and tend to whatever is showing up? Maybe it's some areas you're out of alignment that you need to make some decisions around. Maybe you need to feel some stuff to heal it, to bring some parts back in. And lastly, step 8, hold the energy. Hold the energy, even when it looks like it's not happening. You get to choose. You get to believe. You get to be available only for what it is that you desire, choosing to know and confidently believe that success is inevitable, that if you desire it, it's yours, because the universe, God, spirit would not have placed that desire in your heart if it wasn't meant for you. It's going to come at the right time. Stay aligned. Do your part. Take the aligned action. Choose the fear over faith. Know your why. Practice that energetic fortitude and that mental willpower, and it will be yours, I promise. I can't tell you how many times I have let go of something and simply rested in the belief that what's meant to be for me will come to me. And then it shows up when I'd forgotten about it, because I could lean back. The order had been given. I'm just going to keep following the inspired action, doing my best, being aligned with that version of me, and it will show up. Hold your vibrational alignment, let go of the how and the when. This happened to me in a few different jobs. I did everything I could, and then when there's nothing else that I could do, I let go and I trusted. And I also made sure that it didn't mean anything about me. Check yourself with the attachments. If you're making the success or failure of a manifestation mean something about you, you could create resistance. It needs to be with non-attachment. Maybe there's some healing to do around that. And if you're interested in doing some of the healing around that, if you're feeling like there is resistance in you, that you are tying your own worth or identity to the success or the manifestation of certain things, then get in touch, because this is the powerful experiential healing process that I do. We get to the root of some of these energies and patterns and we clear them for good whilst taking the soul's lesson. So this is serving your soul's greatest evolutions. It's accelerating your manifestation power, and it's also a deeply healing and transformative experience. I have got, as it's bank holiday weekend, 3 of these sessions available at half price, less than half price actually, for £144. So I never really give these sessions outside of my one-to-one containers, so it's a real chance to hop in now and get a great deal. So let me know if that's speaking to you, and if you want to go deeper in understanding some of the spiritual laws, check out my free ebook on my website or in my link tree in Instagram. You can learn more about the 17 universal spiritual laws that help guide the manifestation process, and you can go a lot deeper into some of the rituals and even some scripting around consciously creating what you desire in alignment with your soul. So that is all I have to say for today. I hope you loved this episode. I'm going to be doing more of these. Let me know what landed with you. If you have any questions, please also let me know below in the comments, and I would love to receive your likes. Give me some love back if this landed with you as well. And please, if you're on YouTube, follow and share. I would really appreciate that, so you don't miss any of my future videos. And if it can serve someone else, that would be fantastic as well. All right, in the meantime, sending so much love to you. Have a beautiful weekend and week ahead. Many blessings on you, and I look forward to hopping on here for the next session in a week's time. Bye.